Yo, welcome back to Yev's Builds. In this one, we're gonna be doing some more maintenance on the E46. I mean, you replace your oil filters, right? Replace your fuel filters as well. Sometimes, not as often, but once in a while. Let's get to work. First things first, locate your fuse box. It's gonna be right here in your glove box compartment. Locate fuse number 54, right there, 54. It's gonna be this vertical 20 amp fuse. We're gonna pull this fuse in order to disengage the fuel pump. That way, we're gonna try to start up the car and get as much fuel out of the fuel lines as possible to have as least drain as possible when we're gonna pull the fuel filter out itself. So let's pull this guy. There we go. And now let's go ahead and prime the engine. Do a round 2. Perfect, leave it like this for now. Once you're under the driver's side, that's the front wheel. There's gonna be a couple plastic pieces right here that we have to remove. The fuel filter though is right here, as you can see. So we gotta get rid of this guy right here. There's gonna be a couple 8mm screws and a couple 10mm. Right where the fuel filter is, there's gonna be a metal shield, which is gonna be held by another 8mm right here and 2 more 8mm right there. And just like that, you got the shield off. And now we're greeted with the fuel filter itself and the fuel regulator right there, which I'm also going to be removing and replacing. And for us to unscrew this fuel filter, what you need to do is, you see this little square shaped piece right here? You need an adjustable wrench for it. Adjust it on, take a 19mm open end wrench and you put it onto this nut right here. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, you unscrew it. When you are unscrewing this, make sure to have a bucket or something underneath because you will have a little bit of spillage. There it is, started to drip. And while you're at it, this would be a good time to disconnect the actual fuel filter itself. While this is dripping and making a mess, there's gonna be one 10mm nut right here. That's for the bracket of the actual fuel filter. You can unscrew the nut. Pop this guy off and start unscrewing the filter. Much easier this way. There we go. That has stopped. The way this end comes off is quite simple. You just have to push on this white plastic piece, push it inward, and the filter should pop off. I'll do this with 2 hands. Just be prepared, it might get just a little bit more messy. Yep, as expected. And there's gonna be some more fuel in there. And now, of course, take your new filter, pop this sucker in. I'm gonna do this end first. There you go, it's just gonna clip in naturally. Take this little cap off and start screwing it in. It's pretty simple. And just a rule of thumb, of course, if there's a crush washer, replace it. Take your adjustable wrench and tighten this guy. There's a crush washer there, so should be totally good. Now we're able to put this bracket back on. Make sure the rubber is seated nicely. Take the 10mm and screw it back on, baby. Nice, secure. And now, this fuel regulator, we're gonna replace that also. While we're down here, might as well. It's inexpensive, so might as well. The regulator itself is gonna have a little rubber air hose. It might be very brittle depending on how many miles you have, but just be very careful with this. There we go. The breather hose is off. And now we're greeted with a snap ring. So take some very thin pliers, pull these 2 suckers together and remove the snap ring. Just like that. Snap ring removed. And now let's try to pry this actual regulator off. Again, this might be spilling, so there we go. Regulator removed, and I am covered in gasoline, so that's always awesome, right? Take your new regulator, definitely make sure the O-rings are replaced and are brand new, and put the sucker back on. A good way to put it in is to kind of give it some twist in motion. That way it seats itself and doesn't want to come out. Put your snap ring back in. There you go. Now let's put the air hose back on. There we go. Regulator and fuel filter replaced. Now just put everything back on. And now make sure to put your fuse back in for the fuel pump and try starting the car. Keep in mind it's gonna take a little bit of time. It's gonna be struggling for a little while because we've pretty much drained all the fuel from the pump all the way down to the engine. It's gonna struggle for a little bit, but keep trying at it and it should be good. she goes. There she goes. Let her run for a little bit and then check for any fuel leaks on the bottom. If there aren't any, you're good to go. Well, that's gonna do it for this one. If you're unfamiliar with this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I know it's cliche, but it works. We got a V10 in the back. We're swapping into this thing right here. Dude, there's just a lot of work coming. But, dude, that's gonna end it for this one. Go out there and enjoy your M3. Peace.